Chilka Lake is a brackish water lagoon, spread over the Puri, Khurda and Ganjam districts of Odisha state on the east coast of India, at the mouth of the Daya River, flowing into the Bay of Bengal, covering an area of over 1,100 km². It is the largest coastal lagoon in India and the second largest lagoon in the world. It is the largest wintering ground for migratory birds on the Indian subcontinent. The lake is home to a number of threatened species of plants and animals. The lake is an ecosystem with large fishery resources. It sustains more than 150,000 fisher folk living in 132 villages on the shore and islands. The lagoon hosts over 160 species of birds in the peak migratory season. Birds from as far as the Caspian Sea, Lake Baikal, Aral Sea and other remote parts of Russia, Kyrgyz steppes of Mongolia, Central and Southeast Asia, Ladakh and Himalayas come here. These birds travel great distances. Migratory birds probably follow much longer routes than the straight lines, possibly up to 12,000 km, to reach Chilika Lake. In 1981, Chilika Lake was designated the first Indian wetland of international importance under the Ramsar Convention. According to a survey, 45% of the birds are terrestrial in nature, 32% are waterfowl, and 23% are waders. The lagoon is also home to 14 types of raptors. Around 152 rare and endangered Irrawaddy dolphins have also been reported. Plus, the lagoon supports about 37 species of reptiles and amphibians. The highly productive Chilika Lagoon ecosystem with its rich fishery resources sustains the livelihood for many fishermen who live in and near the lagoon. The water spread area of the lagoon ranges between 1165 to 906 km² during the monsoon and summer respectively. A 32 km long, narrow, outer channel connects the lagoon to the Bay of Bengal, near the village motto. More recently a new mouth has been opened by CDA which has brought a new lease of life to the lagoon. Microalgae, marine seaweeds, sea grasses, fishes and crabs also flourish in the brackish water of the Chilika Lagoon. History: geological evidence indicates that Chilika Lake was part of the Bay of Bengal during the later stages of the Pleistocene period. Excavations were conducted by the Archaeological Survey of India at Golabay Sasand just north of Chilka Lake in Khurda district. Golabay provides evidence of a sequence of Chilka area culture in three phases: Neolithic, Chalcolithic and Iron Age. Radiocarbon dating traced the earliest level of Golabay to 2300 BCE. The site is located on the left bank of the Malaguni River, a tributary of the Daya River, which flows into Chilika Lake. This location, which gave access to the sea via Chilika Lake, gives strong evidence of the maritime activities of this region. The recovery of many woodworking adzes and other artifacts shows that Golabay was a boat-building center. Significantly, Golabay is the only excavated site in Odisha where boat building has been revealed. This also indicates that Chilka Lake was very close to Golabay and it facilitated the maritime trade of people in the area during the ancient period. Some ancient texts say the southern sector of Chilika was a major harbour for maritime commerce, when Caravela, the king of Kalinga, was known as Lord of the Sea. Ptolemy, the Greek geographer, referred to Pallara as the Port Pallara, located close to the point of departure situated outside of the southern tip of the lake at Cantiaga, from where ships bound for different parts of Southeast Asia sailed. After 639, the Chinese pilgrims Fa Hen and Huan-Tsang mention a famous port Che Li Ta locking near the shore of the ocean which was a thoroughfare and resting place for sea-going traders and strangers from distant lands. This port was located at a Chhatragaha unregistered trademark on the banks of Chilika Lake. A 4th-century legend, often told to explain the birth of Chilika, states that the pirate king, Raktabhu, planned to attack Puri with a huge fleet of ships. To avoid detection, he stealthily anchored out of sight, off the mouth to the sea. The deception was revealed by ships profuse floating to the shore, thus warning the town unregistered trademark's people, who escaped with all their possessions. Raktabhu felt betrayed when he found an abandoned town and directed his fury towards the sea that had betrayed him. The sea parted to let the army march in, then surged back, drowned the army and formed the present lake. Archaeological excavations discovered 7th century ship anchors and stone memoirs dedicated to battle heroes at a village named Karnas, about 25 km north of Chilika on the banks of Nuna River, which flows into the lake. This gives evidence of an historic naval engagement off the coast. A 10th century text, the Brahmanda Purana, mentions Chilika Lake as an important center of trade and commerce, and a shelter for ships sailing to Java, Malaya, Sinhala, China and other countries. This suggests that the lake was then deep enough for berthing sea-going ships and had a channel to the sea big enough for loaded trading ships embarking to Southeast Asia. The villagers around Chilika Lake still observe an annual festival called Bali Yatra. In 1803, the British entered the shores of the lake, reached Puri and occupied Odisha with the help of Fatih Muhammad. Fatih Muhammad in turn was rewarded by the British with freehold of the areas of Malad and Parakat, of the present-day Garh Krishna Prasad revenue block. Over the years, poets including Kabir Radhanath Ray and Pandit Godavrish Mishra, freedom fighters and saints have extolled historicity of the lake as pertinent to its cultural, spiritual and religious aspects. Oe Gopabandhu Das, a famous Oriya poet, became impatient to see the beauty of the march of colourful sights and sounds of Chilika Lagoon while going by train. He asked the speeding train to stop for a moment so that he could enjoy the beauty. It is because of the beauty that arrests him. Geology: the lake is of estuary in character in an ephemeral environment. Geological studies indicate that the coastline extended along the western shores of the lake in the Pleistocene era with its northeastern region lying under the sea. That the coastline has moved eastward over the ages is supported by the fact that the nearby Konarak Sun Temple, built originally on the seashore a few hundred years ago, is now about 3 km away from the coast. The catchment area of Chilika Lake has a rock, sand and mud substratum. It contains a wide range of sedimentary particles such as clay, silt, sand, gravel and shell banks, but the major part of the catchment area is silt. Around 1.6 million metric tons per year of sediment is deposited in Chilika Lake by rivers Daya and several streams. It is conjectured that a rise in worldwide sea levels over the last 6,000 to 8,000 years occurred with a pause in the rise of sea level about 7,000 years ago, which could have resulted in the formation of a sandy beach near the coast at the southern sector. With rise in the sea level, the sand beach grew gradually, progressed seaward to the northeast and formed the spit of Chilika. A fossil unearthed from the southwestern edge of the spit indicates that the lake was formed about 3,500 to 4,000 years ago. The abrupt change in the direction of the coast north of the lake, strong winds shifting sand to the shore, longshore drift, the presence or absence of strong river and tidal currents in different areas are the reasons attributed for the growth of the spit. White bands of coral in the southern sector, at a height of 8 am, above the present water level, shows that the area was once marine and that the water was much deeper than present. The chronological development of the outer barrier spit of the lake has been dated by optically stimulated luminescent studies of minerals. This was done on 16 samples of the lake bed. The studies indicated doses of between 153 A plus or minus 3 mgy and 2.23 A plus or minus 0.07 grays, corresponding to ages from 40 years at the top of the spit to 300 years at the bottom. The youngest ages are consistent with the age of the overlying vegetation. A clearly defined period of greater than 2.5 miles of barrier construction 40 years ago is identified. Prior to that, the deposition rate was relatively constant for 300 years. Geography and topography. Chilika Lake is a shallow bar-built estuary with large areas of mud flats. The western and southern margins of the lake are fringed by the eastern Atsil Range. Several inland rivers, which bring silt into the lake, control the northern end of the lake. A 60 km long barrier beach called Regenza, formed by northerly currents in the Bay of Bengal, resulted in the formation of this shallow lake and forms its eastern side. As an ephemeral lake, unregistered trademark S water surface area varies from 1,165 km2 in the summer monsoon season to 906 km2 in the winter dry season. The lake has numerous islands. The larger islands, separated by shallow channels, lie between the barrier and the main body of the lake. A total 42 km of channels connect the lake with Bay of Bengal. The 6 major islands are Parakud, Fulbari, Birajpura, Nuapara, Nalbana, and Tampara. These islands, together with the peninsula of Malad, constitute the Krishna Prasad revenue block of Puri district. The north shore of the lake is part of Khurda district and the western shore is part of Ganjam district. Due to siltation, the width of the barrier has fluctuated and the mouth to the sea has periodically been closed. The location of the mouth has also frequently shifted, generally towards the northeast. The mouth, which was 1.5 km wide in 1780, was only 0.75 km 40 years later. The local fishermen, to maintain their livelihood, had to cut open the mouth regularly to gain access to the sea for fishing. Water depth of the lake varies from 0.9 aft to 2.6 aft in the dry season to 1.8 am to 4.2 am in the rainy season. The width of the old channel to the sea, now reported to be about 100 am, is known as Magamukha. The lake is divided into 4 separate zones, namely, the southern, central, northern sectors and the outer channel area. A 32 km long outer channel connects the lake with the Bay of Bengal at Arakhuda village. The lake is vaguely pear-shaped and has a maximum length of 64.3 km with a mean width of 20.1 km. Hydrology. 3 hydrological subsystems control the hydrology of the lake. The land-based system comprises distributaries of the Mahanadi River on the northern side, 52 river channels from the western side and the Bay of Bengal on the eastern side. 2 of the 3 southern branches of the Mahanadi River that trifurcates at Cuttack, feed the lake. 61% of the total fresh water inflow into the lake is contributed by these 2 branches. The second drainage system, which is non-Euro-perennial, accounts for 39%. The important rivers of this drainage system are the Kanzeri, the Kizumi, the Janjira and the Tami rivers. The annual total surface freshwater input to the lake is estimated to 1.76 cubic kilometers, including direct precipitation over the lake contributing 0.87 cubic kilometers. All the inland river systems disgorge an annual flow of about 0.375 million cubic meters of freshwater, which is estimated to carry 13 million metric tons of silt into the lake. On the northeast, a channel connects the lake to the Bay of Bengal. A tropical monsoon climate prevails over the drainage basin area of the lake. The lake experiences south-Euro-west and northeast monsoons during June to September and November to December respectively, with average annual rainfall of 1,238.8 mm, with 72 rainy days. The maximum temperature of 39.9 AA degrees Celsius and minimum temperature of 14 AA degrees Celsius have been recorded. The wind speed varies from 5.3 to 16 meters per hour with southerly and southwesterly direction due to the influence of the south-Euro-west monsoon, and from north and northeasterly direction during the rest of the months. Water and sediment quality. The Chilika Development Authority established an organized system of water quality measurements and limnological investigations indicating the following physico-eurochemical characteristics of the lake waters. Lake water is alkaline, a Euro pH ranging from 7.1 to Euro 9.6 with total alkalinity matching the salinity. The southern part of the lake near Ramar has recorded the highest alkalinity. Bathymetry survey indicates extreme shallow depths in the northern sector, with less than 1.5 am in a large area. The southern sector of the lake has recorded the maximum depth of 3.9 am. High turbidity due to strong mixing of overlying water with sediments is confirmed by observed transparency values ranging between 9 and 155 cm. Salinity levels in the lake show wide temporal and spatial variation due to a complex blend of freshwater discharge, evaporation, wind condition and tidal inflow of seawater. The brackish nature of the lake is depicted by the 0 parts per thousand near the Daya River mouth to hypersaline level of 42 ppt in the outlet channel during the dry period. The dissolved oxygen values were between 3.3 Euro 18.9 mg per liter. Phosphate phosphorus, Nitrate, nitrogen and silicates are high in the north and northwest part of the lake, where most of the rivers discharge into the lake with large amounts of silt and nutrients. The lake is broadly divided into 4 zones on the basis of salinity values, namely the southern, central, northern and outer channel. Tidal influx of seawater during monsoon is arrested by the strong influx of a large amount of fresh water from the northern and central zones. Brackish water conditions in the southern zone, even during monsoon, prevail due to low water exchange. Salinity in the southern zone decreases during the post-monsoon period and in winter as northern winds facilitate mixing of water with rest of the lake. During the summer, intrusion of salt water from the outer channel into the lake increases since water level of the lake is at its lowest level. A general increase in salinity of the central and northern zones occurs due to wind-induced mixing by the predominantly southern winds, and salinity in the southern zone does not rise appreciably. Sedimentation, adverse tidal exchange occurred due to the littoral drift along the coastline, causing flow reduction and shifting of the lake mouth every year. Estimated sediment transport due to this is on the order of 100,000 metric tons. This adverse effect needed ameliorative actions. Sediment cores were collected from different locations of the lake. The result indicated spatial variation of sedimentation rate in 3 zones of the lake of 7.6 mm year, 8.0 mm year and 2.8 mm year. The non-uniform sedimentation rate along with the porosity and water content of the sediment cores were also analyzed, which indicated the lake had different deposition zones, with comparatively higher sedimentation rate in northern and central sector and a slow rate in the southern sector. Conservation threats and management. In 1981, Chilika Lake was designated the first Indian wetland of international importance under the Ramsar Convention due to its rich biodiversity, as shown by the facts that, over 1 million migratory waterfowl and shorebirds winter here. Over 400 vertebrate species have been recorded. As an estuarine lagoon, it supports a unique assemblage of marine, brackish and freshwater species. Several rare and endangered species are found in the region. The lake supports fisheries that are the lifeline of the community. The lake is of great value in preserving genetic diversity. There is an increase in weeds and aquaculture activities. Threats. Over the years, the ecosystem of the lake encountered several problems and threats such as siltation due to littoral drift and sediments from the inland river systems, shrinkage of water surface area, choking of the inlet channel as well as shifting of the mouth connecting to the sea, decrease in salinity and fishery resources, proliferation of freshwater invasive species and an overall loss of biodiversity, with decline in productivity adversely affecting the livelihood of the community that depended on it. Fights between fishermen and non-fishermen communities about fishing rights in the lake and consequent court cases. The rapid expansion of commercial aquaculture of prawn has contributed significantly to the decline of the lake's fisheries and bird population. Concerted action was initiated by the Odisha state government with support from the Government of India to adopt adaptive conservation and management actions. By 1993, the problems in Chilika were so severe that the lake was put under the Monterey record, as the lake was considered to have undergone, to be undergoing, or to be likely to undergo change in its ecological character brought about by human action. The purpose was to stimulate remedial measures for the lake's conservation, supplemented with adequate monitoring. It was expected that such an action would benefit from the advice from Ramsar Advisory Mission and other identified technical assistance programs. In summary, siltation from upstream led to shrinkage of the water surface area, decrease of salinity and prolific growth of invasive freshwater aquatic weed infestation, all of which had a serious negative impact on habitat of wildlife and fishery resources. Chilika Development Authority. In 1992, the government of Odisha, concerned by the degradation of the lake's ecosystem and cognizant of significant numbers of people who were dependent upon the lake's resources, set up the Chilika Development Authority. The CDA was set up for restoration and overall development of the lake under the Indian Societies Registration Act as a parastatal body under the administrative jurisdiction of the Forest and Environment Department, with the following charter: to protect the lake ecosystem with all its genetic diversity, to formulate the management plan for integrated resource management and wise use of the lake's resources by the community depending on it, to execute multidimensional and multidisciplinary developmental activities either itself or through other agencies, to collaborate with various national and international institutions for development of the lake. The governing body of the authority is headed by the Chief Minister of Odisha State and has Euro unregistered trademark S representatives, representatives of the fisherfolk communities and secretaries of the key departments, experts and eminent scientists as its members. In 1998, an executive committee constituted with financial authority, supplemented with financial support from the 10th and 11th Finance Commissions of the Government of India, gave support to the management initiatives taken up by CDA. This facilitated a coordinated approach to plan and implement effective ameliorative management actions. An integrated management plan was implemented with financial support of Rs 570 million out of a special problem grant recommended by the Finance Commissions. Hydrobiological monitoring was supported under the Odisha Water Resources Consolidation Project of the World Bank, to the extent of Rs 10 million. A strong support network was created with 7 state government organizations, 33 NGOs, 3 national government ministries, 6 other organizations, 11 international organizations, 13 research institutions and 55 different categories of community groups. In 2003, collaboration of Indian and Japanese experts led to a friendly relationship between Chilika Lake and Saruma Lake in Japan called Sister Wetlands. Ameliorative actions, considering the threats faced by the lake, the National Wetlands, Mangroves and Coral Reefs Committee of the Ministry of Environment and Forests, Government of India, also identified the lake as a priority site for conservation and management. The ameliorative actions taken by the CDA to restore the ecosystem and to improve the socio-economic conditions of the communities living around the lake and on its islands involved the following. Opening the lake mouth. The most effective ameliorative action was the hydrological intervention of opening the new lake mouth and channel to the sea through the barrier beach at Satapura. This improved the spatial and temporal salinity gradients of the lake to maintain the unique characteristics of an estuarine ecosystem. This intervention was undertaken after detailed scientific studies, including 3-dimensional mathematical modeling and hydraulics studies on a model prototype, were carried out by the Central Water and Power Research Station, Pune National Institute of Oceanography, Goa. In September 2000, the desiltation of the channel connecting the lake to the sea and opening of a new mouth to restore the natural flows of water and salinity levels was carried out. These actions resulted in a notable increase in the lake's fish yield and a reduction of freshwater weeds. The new mouth reduced the length of the outflow channel by 18 kilometers. Opening of the new mouth provided a favorable increased salinity regime throughout the lake with less fluctuations and improved water clarity. Detailed results of this action can be seen in the references cited in external sources. Other measures included, catchments management in Euro participatory micro-watershed management in a whole ecosystem, a pro-Euro protection of bird habitat and of bird species, economic incentives to the local population to stop poaching of birds, measures to improve the socio-Euro-economic conditions, such as training programs to develop ecotourism, provision of solar streetlight systems to island villages, development of a ferry service for isolated villages, construction of landing facilities for fisherfolk, as well as education and environmental awareness activities. In 2002, Chilika was taken out of the Monterey record, in light of the improved conditions of the lake. Chilika Lake is the first Ramsar site in Asia to be removed from the Monterey record. Awards. In November 2002, the Ramsar Wetland Conservation Award was presented to the Chilika Development Authority for outstanding achievements in the field of restoration and wise use of wetlands and effective participation of local communities in these activities. The Indira Gandhi Parivaran Puruskar, constituted by the Ministry of Environment and Forests, Government of India, awarded the prestigious Indira Gandhi Parivaran Award Euro 2002 to the Chilika Development Authority for the outstanding contribution of conservation and restoration of the Chilika Lake ecosystem. Flora and fauna. The ecological richness of the lake is of great value in preserving the genetic diversity because of the multiplicity of its habitat, flora and fauna. The Zoological Survey of India surveyed the lake between 1985 and 1988 and identified 800 species of fauna, including many rare, endangered, threatened and vulnerable species, but excluding terrestrial insects. The rare and threatened animal species identified are green sea turtle, dugong, Irrawaddy dolphin, black buck, spoon-billed sandpiper, limbless skink and fishing cat. 24 mammalian species were reported. 37 species of reptiles and amphibians are also reported. Flora. Recent surveys revealed an overall 726 species of flowering plants belonging to 496 genera and 120 families. This represents about 1/4 of the vascular plant species of the Odisha state, where some 2,900 species altogether are found. Fabaceae is the most dominant plant family, followed by Pusaceae and Cyperaceae. Certain species were found to be characteristic of specific islands. The flora is predominantly of aquatic and subaquatic plants. Overall 726 species of flowering plants belonging to 496 genera and 120 families have been recorded. Fabaceae is the predominant plant family, followed by Pusaceae and Cyperaceae. The species reported are Leguminosae, Pusaceae, and Cyperaceae. Endemic Cassiopeiria selanica. 5 species of seagrass, and more. Important species identified are Leguminosae, Pusaceae, and Cyperaceae. Endemic Cassiopeiria selanica, 5 species of seagrass, wild plants of horticultural importance and interesting plant groups such as insectivorous plants, epiphytes, parasites and lithophytes, mangrove associates, such as Aegisaris corniculatus, Excoacaria agaluk, Salvadora persica, Puanamia pinnata, Colubrina asiatica, Caparis roxburghi, Macrotyloma ciliatum and many others. Avifauna. Chilika Lake is the largest wintering ground for migratory birds, on the Indian subcontinent. It is one of the hotspots of biodiversity in the country. Some species listed in the IUCN Red List of Threatened Animals inhabit the lake for at least part of their life cycle. White-bellied sea eagles, grey lag geese, purple moorhen, jacana, herons and flamingos, egrets, grey and purple herons, Indian roller, storks and white ibis, spoonbills, Brahmani ducks, shovelers and pintails, and more. Migratory waterfowl arrive here from as far as the Caspian Sea, Baikal Lake and remote parts of Russia, Mongolia, Laka, Siberia, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan and from the Himalayas. A census conducted in the winter of 1997-98 recorded about 2 million birds in the lake. In 2007, nearly 840,000 birds visited the lake, out of which 198,000 were spotted in Nalbana Island. On January 5, 2008, a bird census involving 85 wildlife officials counted 900,000 birds, of which 450,000 were sighted in Nalbana. Removal of invasive species of freshwater aquatic plants, especially water hyacinth, due to restoration of salinity, is a contributing factor for the recent increasing attraction of birds to the lake. Nalbana Bird Sanctuary. Nalbana Island is the core area of the Ramsar-designated wetlands of Chilika Lake. Nalbana means a weed-covered island in the Oriya language. It is a major island in the center of the lake and has an area of 15.53 km². The island gets completely submerged during the monsoon season. As the monsoon recedes in the winter, lake levels decrease and the island is gradually exposed. Birds flock to the island in large numbers to feed on its extensive mud flats. Nalbana was notified in 1987 and declared a bird sanctuary in 1973 under the Wildlife Protection Act. Large flocks of greater flamingos from Iran and the Rann of Kutch in Gujarat feed in the shallow waters of the lake. Other long-legged waders seen around Nalbana Island are the lesser flamingos, Goliath heron, grey herons, and purple herons, egrets, spoonbills, storks and black-headed ibis. Rare birds reported in the lake are Asiatic dowitchers, Dalmatian pelican, Pallas's fish eagles, the very rare migrant spoon-billed sandpiper and spot-billed pelican. The white-bellied sea eagle, pariah kite, Brahminy kites, kestrel, marsh harriers, and the world's most widespread bird of prey, peregrine falcon, are among the raptors seen near. Many short-legged shorebirds are seen in a narrow band along the shifting shores of the lake and islands. These include plovers, the collared pratincoll, ruff, dunlin, snipes and sandpipers. Larks, wagtails and lapwings are also found on the mudflats. Feeding in deeper water are the longer-legged avocets, stilts and godwits. The higher vegetated areas of the lake support moorhens, coots and jacanas. Pond herons and night herons can be seen along the shores with kingfishers and rollers. Little cormorants are seen on perches around the lake, compact flocks of Brahminy ducks, as well as shovelers, pintails, gadwall, teals, pochards, geese and coots, are also seen. Nesting colonies of gull-billed terns and river terns are seen on the Nalbana island. In 2002, the Bombay Natural History Society survey recorded 540 nests of the Indian river tern at the island, the largest nesting colony in the Southeast Asia. Aquafauna, as per the Chilika Development Authority unregistered trademark S updated data, 323 aquatic species, which includes 261 fish species, 28 prawns and 34 crabs are reported, out of which 65 species breed in the lake. 27 species are freshwater fishes and 2 genera of prawns. The remaining species migrate to the sea to breed. 21 species of herrings and sardines of the family Clupidae are reported. Between 1998 to 2002, 40 fish species were recorded here for the first time, and following the reopening of the lake mouth in 2000, 6 threatened species have reappeared, including milkfish, Indo-Pacific tarpon, 10-pounder, bream, Hilsa alicia and Mullet. Commercial fisheries. For centuries fisherfolk evolved exclusive rights of fishing through a complex system of partitioning the fisheries of the lake, harvested the lake in a relatively sustainable fashion and developed a large range of fishing techniques, nets and gear. During the British rule, in 1897–98, fishermen community enjoyed exclusive fisheries rights in the lake. The fisheries of the lake were part of the Zamindari estates of Calicut, Paracut, Sunabibi, Mtsataya Beg and the Chowdhury families of Bungarpur and the Khas Mahal areas of Khurda, lying within the kingdoms of the Rajas of Paracut and Calicut. The zamindars leased out the fisheries exclusively to the local fisherfolk. With the abolition of zamindari system in 1953, traditional fishing areas continued to be leased out to cooperatives of local fishermen. Fishing, particularly prawn fishing, became increasingly remunerative, with outside interest playing an important role. But in 1991, when the government of Odisha proposed a leasing policy that would have resulted in the auction of leases to the highest bidder, the fishermen unregistered trademark S cooperatives challenged the order in court. The High Court of Odisha ordered the government to enact changes that would protect the interests of traditional fishermen, and since then no new leases have been reported. This has resulted in a chaotic regime in which powerful vested interests from outside dominate, and the local people have been subordinated. Butter catfish and walago achu are the most common type of fish found in the lake. 11 species of fish, 5 species of prawn and 2 crab species are commercially important. The commercially important prawn are giant tiger prawn, Indian prawn, Metatarpanius monoceros, Metatarpanius aphnis and Metatarpanius dobson. Mangrove crab is the most important commercial crab. Fish landings in the lake, which fluctuated in the past, have recorded a remarkable recovery after the opening of the new mouth and dredging of silt-choked Old Mouth Magarmuck in 2000–2001, resulted in a better intermixing of the tidal influx from the sea and freshwater inflow from rivers. Against an all-time lowest landing of fish and prawn of 1,269 AT in 1995 (96), the all-time high is reported to be 11,878 AT during 2001 (2002), resulting in an estimated per capita income for the fisherfolk of Rs 19,575 during the year. Recently, the government of Odisha have issued a notification banning the lease of Chilika Lake for culture fishery. Dolphins. The Irrawaddy dolphin is the flagship species of Chilika Lake. Chilka is home to the only known population of Irrawaddy dolphins in India and one of only 2 lagoons in the world that are home to this species. It is classified as critically endangered. In 5 of the 6 other places it is known to live. A small population of bottle-nosed dolphins also migrate into the lagoon from the sea. Chilika fishermen say that when Irrawaddy dolphins and bottle-nosed dolphins meet in the outer channel, the former get frightened and are forced to return toward the lake. Some Irrawaddy dolphins used to be sighted only along the inlet channel and in a limited portion of the central sector of the lake. After the opening of the new mouth at Sattapada in 2000, they are now well distributed in the central and the southern sector of the lake. The number of dolphins sighted has varied from 50 to 170. A 2006 census counted 131 dolphins and the 2007 census revealed 138 dolphins. Out of the 138 dolphins, 115 were adults, 17 adolescents and 6 calves. 60 adults were spotted in the outer channel followed by 32 in the central sector and 23 in the southern sector. Dolphin tourism provides an important alternative source of income for many local residents. There are 4 tourist associations in Sattapada employing 369 horsepower long-tail motorboats taking tourists to a 25 km2 area of the lake for dolphin watching. About 500 fishing families are involved in this business. The Odisha Tourism Department and the Dolphin Motorboat Association, an NGO at Sattapada, report about 40,000 tourists visit Chilika every year for dolphin watching. October-January and May-June are the peak season for tourists at Chilika, with a maximum 600 to 700 per day during December-January. The Dolphin Motorboat Association has 75 8-passenger motorboats for dolphin watching. Tourists pay Rs 250 for €60 90 minutes per trip. According to the association, most tourists see dolphins. Only 5% return disappointed. Besides the association, the Odisha Tourism Department organizes dolphin watch for tourists. Even during monsoon, about 100 tourists day visit the lake. Boat-based dolphin watching tours impact dolphin behavior and cause several accidental dolphin deaths each year. CDA conducts an annual census of dolphin deaths. They report 15 deaths in 2003 April, 11 in 2004 May, 8 in 2005 6th and 5th in 2006-07. 40% of the 2006-07 deaths were by mechanized boats. Since 2004, the Whale and Dolphin Conservation Society has been conducting a science-based community education project to conserve the Irrawaddy dolphins and Chilika Lake. They have determined the primary cause of mortality for this population of dolphins is floating gill nets in hook-line fisheries and the secondary cause is boat strikes from increasing unmanaged tourism activities. The Irrawaddy dolphins have a seemingly mutualistic relationship of cooperative fishing with the traditional fishermen. Fishermen recall when they would call out to the dolphins, to drive fish into their nets. Castnet fishing with the help of Irrawaddy dolphins in upper reaches of the Daya River has been well documented. Major attractions, Nalbana Island. The 15 km2 Nalbana Island is within the lagoon and is the core area of the Ramsar-designated wetlands. It was declared a bird sanctuary under the Wildlife Protection Act in 1973. ETA unregistered trademark S. The heart of the park where one can see thousands of birds descending during the migratory season. The island disappears during monsoon season due to inundation, and post-monsoon, the island emerges again. The vast lake harbors 225 species of fish, a wide variety of phytoplankton, algae and aquatic plants, and also supports over 350 species of non-aquatic plants. The other areas where high concentrations of birds are recorded are Jerisra, Parakud Island, and the western shores of the northern sector. Chilka Lake is one of the best birdwatching spots in India, and is also popular for fishing and angling. Other attractions, Puri, this holy city is famous for the late 11th century built Jagannath temple. The other major attraction here is the beach, from where you can witness the glorious sunrise and equally mesmerizing sunset. ETA unregistered trademark S said that a visit to Puri is incomplete without visiting Chilika Lagoon. The Nirmaljar waterfall, this is an ideal place for pitching your picnic tent. The beautiful waterfall is located nearly 12 km from Chilika Lagoon. Satpada, this place is located at a distance of around 55 km from Puri, on the eastern side of the Chilika Lake. This place is surrounded by lagoons from the three sides, which makes this place an amazing tourist spot for nature lover. Ecotourism, the open-air and scenic natural flora and fauna of the lake are an attraction for ecotourism. This is expected to provide a degree of alternate employment to the local community and generate environmental awareness, among local residents as well as visitors, about the conservation and wise use of the lake unregistered trademark as natural resources. The locations within the lake identified for such activity are, Ramar Bay at the southern end of the lake with a group of islands including, the Beacon Island, with an architectural conical pillar built by Mr. Snodgrass, the then collector of Ganjam of the East India Company, on a mass of rock in the Ramar Bay near Gantizila Hill. It has scenic water spread surrounded by the eastern at. The Breakfast Island, pear-shaped, known as Sankuda Island, with remnants of a dilapidated bungalow constructed by the King of Calicut, has rare plants and is full of greenery with appealing flora. Honeymoon Island, 5 km from Ramar Jetty, known as Barkuda Island, with clear waters has abundant red and green macroalgae in the bed is also known for the limbless lizard, an endemic species found here. Samolo and Dumkudai Islands, located in the central and southern sectors of the lake, in the backdrop of scenic Calicut Hill Range, are inundated remnants of the easternates with rich flora and fauna and also known for sighting of Irrawaddy dolphins. Birds Island, located in the southern sector of the lake has huge exposed hanging rocks, are painted white due to folic acid of the droppings of the birds and is known for rich algal communities and few mangrove species and also migratory birds in winter. Parakud is a group of composite islands in the Garh Krishna Prasad block for nature lovers and provides an avian spectacle during winter season. Kalajai temple located on an island is considered to be the abode of the goddess Kalajai. This temple is located at a hill which is surrounded by the blue water bears. Local people of Chilika refer to goddess as the reigning deity of the lagoon. Satapada village, at the new mouth of the lake, provides a beautiful view of the lake and also views of the dolphins. Hundreds of boats here provide tours of the lake for tourists. Barrancuda, a small island situated near Magamak, mouth of the lake, has a temple of Lord Varuna. Navagraha is an ancient deity located along the outer channel. Chubar Shiva temple is located near Alipatna village, along the outer channel. Manakapatna, located on the outer channel has historical evidence of a port which was used for trade with Far East and also has the Baba Kundeswar temple of Lord Shiva, an old mosque whose entrance door is made of the jaws of the whale. Sandbar and mouth of the lake is a striking and unexplored stretch of 30 km of empty beach across the sandbar which separates the lake from the sea. Mangalojadi, a famous bird sanctuary for sighting migratory birds. Access. The lake is well connected by road to Chennai and Kolkata through National Highway No. 5. Satpura town on the eastern bank of the lake is about 50 km by road southwest of the city of Puri and at a distance of 100 km from Bhubaneswar, the capital of Odisha, which is also the nearest airport. A broad-gauge railway line of the Southeastern Railway from Kolkata skirts along the western bank of the lake passing through Balagain, Chilika and Ramar stations. Within the lake precincts, Odisha Tourism Development Corporation Limited and the Revenue Department of the state government offer boat cruises. Private operators also provide country boats on hire to various islands in the lake. There are OTDC guest houses at Barkul, Ramar, Satapada and several hotels at Balagain. Before entering into the Nalbana Bird Sanctuary one has to obtain an entry permit. The entry permit has to be produced at entry-exit points, at check gates as and whenever requested by officials. Gallery. References. External links, Irrawaddy dolphin India, opening of new mouth and IRS-1D List 3 image of Chilika Lagoon, Figure 1 Chilika Lagoon Basin, tourist locations in the lagoon, birds of Chilika. The journey from Puri to Chilika Lake brings alive the rustic life of Odisha.